Sometimes when we harden our minds into a steel trap, we weld them open or shut. Neither is very good. You are trying to think logically, waptek. This is upside-down world. Nothing is as it seems. Does that also include your assumptions and what you were told? No. What I'm told is absolutely how it seems, right? It's not the same old nothing to see here as it used to be. Keep looking. I think you can do better. This is a person who isn't immediately yelling at me yet. But they're dipping their toe into stuff. In a sane world, sure, another person says. Your explanation is more sane. But newsflash, the world isn't as sane as you think it is. Or I thought it was. Keep your eyes and ears open. Keep thinking for yourself. But I'm telling you that people have told you something on the internet that literally has no merit, and they don't offer any proof or explanation. They just say, I'm just asking questions, or I don't know, you tell me. But people like me who explain to them, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what the words mean, then someone will yell elitist, which is actually what happened. I put up the video originally. Post the comments to people's videos. You're not listening. You tell people to, think for yourself, but you tell us not to think for ourselves because I'm double checking what you're saying. Well, I'm not saying anything. Yes, you are. You're acting like you're just asking questions so that you can evade being critiqued or criticized because you're being lazy. That's what I told some people on the net, and they didn't like that. The red pill, black pill is slow to take effect. Okay, but what you're not talking about here is the brainwashing that some people used to post on my channel and say, well, you're brainwashed, or everybody was brainwashed and I'm no longer brainwashed. And I'm like, okay, you're not brainwashed anymore. So do you ever listen to somebody tell you that you're wrong about something? I mean, the easiest way to brainwash people is to tell them that they shouldn't listen to someone who tells you what you don't want to hear because it hurts. Or other. We've all been lied to, we've all been fooled. I was tricked into thinking that a lot of things were true because I wasn't provided with where they got the information from. They made up stories, sometimes desperately. And that's when I figured out I was being lied to by proxy. Someone tells a lie and then you repeat it because you believe it, but you don't know where the story came from. So I looked it up and found out that people were being lied to. There's a set of laws on the books that allows you to not have to pay taxes. No, there isn't. Well, it's a secret rule book. Then it's not enforceable. That's prima facie evidence you don't have a law book that says that. And then they eventually get desperate and say, well, the Bible says the Bible isn't the law. The Bible is not the lawgiver. The Bible mentions things that are not legal. If it was making the laws, those wouldn't be rules we have against what is said in the Bible to do, such as murdering people or keeping hookers or keeping slaves. We're a country that defies the Bible that way. In fact, that's one of the arguments that was made about taking away the ability to do those things. Where does this come from? Okay, I'm going to redo the whole video as quick as I can. A guy named Tom Hanks, you might have heard of him, is a liberal, and he won't keep his mouth shut, and people criticize him for it. Now, there's nothing they can really do to criticize him. He's just stating his opinion how he votes. I mean, literally yelling at him for voting the way you don't want looks shitty. Anyway, he could be libertarian for all I know. But anyway, he also likes taking pictures of discarded items in urban settings. He took a photo of a glove on a sidewalk when he came across it, and in one of the images of said glove, he has several of them. One of them says USA and SRC. Now, people noticed after the fact they'd already been primed for this because they were told that if you look up USA and SRC on a certain search engine, you'll find something that proves frogs are gay or something. So when they saw that, they immediately flipped their shit. Nobody bothered looking up what does USA and SRC on a piece of pavement, not sidewalk necessarily, a piece of pavement, mean. It could also be on a sidewalk. And I couldn't find out what it was until I dug really deeply, because it's used by people who are marking an area, mentioning what materials are in the area, or whether or not there's water pipes underground. SRC is usually an acronym for sulfate-resisting cement. It could be other things. USA is obviously the United States of America, but it could also be an acronym for Underground Service Alert, meaning watch out where you dig, there's a bunch of hardware under here, don't bust a pipe or blow the place up because you had a gas line. Seattle Resident Code is also SRC. There's lots of acronyms that fit this. I couldn't find the specific one until I dug and dug and dug. And I had an answer from Reddit. Also, I eventually found on Reddit a week later an answer on Reddit from somebody who worked for, that location, that city. That's what we use it for. And it was sulfite-resistant cement and underground service alert. That's all. So he took a picture of a glove on the side of the road. It's like the missing sock thing. And he does photography like that. He takes photos. But that must mean frogs are gay, because SRC in USA was mentioned someplace else. Okay. The Russian Yandex search, if you type in USA and SRC, depending on whether or not they're put in one order or another, and whether or not you have a space after and before USA and after and before SRC, or you put them in quotes, and typing in numbers especially, you'll get links to a website called SRC Models in Russian. And it uses sequence numbers for the images, and they are a modeling agency authorized within the Russian government or Russian Federation to act as a front for kids who are models for advertising. And they have to be protected, and they have to fulfill a whole shit ton of requirements. It's like if you're a kid and you're in a movie in Hollywood, they have to have someone on site that is antagonistic to Hollywood, keeping track of the kid. Now, that's a bunch of stuff there. That's a whole other video. But the point is, Tom Hanks has nothing to do with SRC models or Russian Yandex. And the USA thing is literally, there's 100 things for USA. He took a photo of something that existed before he got there. No, that's a secret clue or something. At this point, I'm wondering why people are saying, nothing to see here as it used to be isn't the way it is. Well, no, there is nothing to see here because you won't provide proof. Again, I'm not trying to find possible explanations to explain away Tom Hanks being an evil person. Some of you are trying to find a way to make Tom Hanks evil by literally doing something that's primarily referred to as a Christian behavior, demonizing something, taking something that's completely neutral or even good and making it evil looking so that you can tear it down. You don't like Tom Hanks. Okay. So you make up a lie. Well, no, you didn't. Neither of these people did. But someone out in the world did, because they wanted to go after Tom Hanks, and they were looking for anything they could do to fuck with him. He took a photo. If he took a photo of bare cement, I know of one YouTube channel that would fuck with that image until they got some pattern that they could say is the sign of the devil, just so they could do it. And you know that. Some of you subscribe to channels like that. And if that fails, someone will just take the picture, put it on a Ouija board, and say that they're reading tarot cards or whatever, and say, see, evil. Anyway, besides Russian Yandex taking anything SRC and a sequence of numbers, and even USA, and finding kids, Wayfair SKUs, that's the way they keep track of their stock. Some of them, or all of them, depending on who you talk to, but many of them start with SRC. And that's exposed in the web page source code, which has to be read by every web browser. And Google, when they grab a page, grabs the source code and sanitizes it by getting rid of anything that isn't necessary. They get rid of JavaScript and crap like that, so you can load the page in a cached copy. The cached copy contains SRC in the source code. Many of the products in that brand use female first names to distinguish them from each other. And sellers decide that because of restrictions and rules, they were going to overprice an item out of being search engine usable or something you'd want to buy to prevent selling it because they ran out. Instead of just saying we're out of stock, they get punished for that. They just change the price tag. For those of you who don't remember, on eBay, we had to do the same thing. If I put up a product and I wasn't able to deliver it, I would change the price to something exorbitantly expensive and also put below it, I can't sell it. Because they had a punishment if you took it down before the auction was over with. So I set the starting price too high and said, I'm changing the conditions of the... I was allowed to do that. That's really shitty. But they punished me by pulling like 50 cents to $10 out of me. So I just did what would work. Everybody did it because they're unreasonable. PayPal and eBay are unreasonable. So you're going to see unreasonable or non-rational behavior. And then they decided to just go fuck everybody over. I mean, there's no way to win on it. A Reddit conspiracy section user named Princess Peach 1987 noticed that Wayfair sold a closet, a utility closet, at 100 times the price, and decided it was missing girls because the names were similar. Yeah, first names were being shipped. It's the shipping cabinets are somehow being used to ship human trafficking. Where is the air supply in the box it's shipped in? So it's not human trafficking, it's cadaver shipment. You know how people ship cadavers? Don't know if you noticed this. There's an actual open, not illegal market for dead corpses, really, rather than live corpses. And what you do is you pack them in ice, and you ship them like you do fish. In fact, some of you have received fish shipments by not knowing it that were next to cadavers, depending on the shipper. That's really done. The reason it's done is to provide bodies for cadavers, for doing medical research, body parts, bone material to do jawing grafts, all sorts of crap. Also for bodies to go to a college so people can learn how to do surgery on a cadaver instead of your uncle. There's a whole other universe there. But the point I'm making here is, unless you're shipping dead bodies, this isn't human trafficking. This is meat preservation requirements. I don't know why I have to make this so overt, but no, they're not shipping people. And finally, this Princess Peach whatever, it's involved in human trafficking because it was so expensive. Well, I already explained that. Well, the SKUs, match up with SRC and USA sometimes, and yeah, for USA shipping only, and for outside of US, they also have an EU, I explained at one time. But no, they're not big enough to carry a kid if you don't want them to. You need a 10 by 10 by 10 area so you can survive the shipment by even UPS next day and shit, because it's not next day, and you know that. So let's review. Tom Hanks takes some pictures, and something outside of his control on the frickin' pavement is in the image, therefore he's guilty. Or you came to the table wanting to find some dirt on Tom Hanks, couldn't find shit, and made this not even tenuous connection up, but just fucking bullshit. But I'm told that the world isn't as sane as I think it is. No, you want it to be less sane so that these kind of connections work for you? I'm not accusing this person of that. I'm asking seriously. Nothing is as it seems. It's an upside-down world, except when I can prove that there's no way this can make any sense unless you deliberately throw out a world that works at all. Oh, again, you came into this wanting Tom Hanks to look bad. You want it to be that everybody who's famous is secretly shipping kids in cabinets or pillowcases that are too small to carry anybody? Well, maybe they put them in stasis, and we don't have a method for stasis. If you're not aware of it, we don't have a method for that. It's called induced coma, and it still requires the same amount of O2, because it does. It's not human trafficking if you're shipping a corpse. It's disposing of evidence. I thought it was sane, but it isn't anymore. No, you've been told that because you need to have a certain outcome to an election or to how you feel about rich people being too rich. I know a lot of liberals that don't like rich people, so they make up conspiracy theories too, okay? But the point is, you want Tom Hanks to look bad, therefore children can be shipped in a metal box with no air and somehow not die when UPS is handling it, or FedEx. Keep your eyes and arrows open and think for yourself. I did. I checked out the claim. It's somebody making a what-if scenario on Reddit. I debunked it, so did everybody else. Why did you post this? Why are you resisting? Why aren't you taking the pill? It's a sugar pill. I'm trying to make it sweet. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with all that.